I always use the example of what the doctor told me, right? Like he'll never be able to play any team sports. And I've just always held on to just little things like that of
You
what
said
they
that
said. We,
multiple times before.
yeah,
Yeah.
like what we're not going to do. And so I think I had an array of emotions, and I'm speaking from a place now where I'm whole now. Like I'm not speaking from a place of, well, I don't know what. No, I'm whole now. I'm healed from the whole situation.
All right, so welcome back to another episode of the Western Motor Podcast. It's been a while. Nonetheless, this is much longed for not only myself, but for my guests as well, but more important for the audience in which he likes to speak to, or that really needs to hear who he is and what he does. He's an entrepreneur. He's a father. He's dabbling in education. We started teaching together. Actually, he's taught before me. Educated man, University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. He also attended Clark Atlanta as well. A spiritually led man as well. My wellness checker. My man, make sure he checks in on me. I really, really appreciate that, especially as we've gotten older. But please welcome my brother, Leonce Allen, to the pod.
Oh my God!
My
What an
God, man,
intro.
what's going on,
What's
man?
going on?
Long awaited, but
Thank you.
happy to be here, man.
Lovely intro. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to explain some of my story, what we got coming up, and most importantly, with it being April, just spreading more awareness to autism. So yeah, that's what brings me here. Me and Walt met a few weeks ago, and we just kind of just was like, we should probably put something together. And I'm like, well, let's do it.
Let's do it for sure. And in a the latter half of the episode and things like that, we'll talk about some things that are coming up that he has planned, which is great. He's an advocate for this space that we're going to be talking about. So first and foremost, with it being Autism Awareness Month, where does your mind go when it comes to Autism Awareness Month? I know a lot of people try to jump on the bandwagon in terms of doing some of these things
Yeah.
or hashtagging it, but it has a deeper meaning for you.
Yeah. I have some mixed feelings
Right.
about
Yep.
Autism Awareness Month, but I'll start with just kind of the what I take from it. So I'm never going against awareness and those things, and I love the collaboration just from not only the people like the advocates like myself, but the others that just turn it up a notch. Right, there are so many different organizations that will every weekend for this whole month they will be tied down and busy with a lot of the events. So I do appreciate it from that perspective, and just the opportunity to just for people to learn more about that and experience it and even give back towards it. So I love that part of it. The other side is this is a 365 thing for myself and others. And as I do appreciate the month, I've already got in my head, look, come May, I'm going to have to turn it up a notch, because this is typically when the autism talks and everything fall off the wagon May 1st. So,
And for those that don't understand or not following him, my man Lee has a son, my nephew, Lil Lee, who's autistic.
Yep.
So as you listen to him, please keep that in mind, and then we'll walk you through the journey.
Yeah. I have an 11-year-old son, Leonce Jr. We've known he's had autism since he was 2, so about 9 years of this. We've been dealing with, the good and some of the, I'm not even going to say bad, the good and difficult parts of this. From in the beginning, getting him to talk for the first time, as opposed to now, when me and Walt were just talking about kind of off camera, right? The growing pains and things like that as he's getting older, at puberty, as he's almost a teenager. A lot has changed. A lot has changed since the last time we probably recorded anything too.
For sure.
But yeah, that's my son. That's his age. That's what he's dealing with. But I was just saying about just Awareness Month. This is a 365 thing for me. It doesn't go anywhere. We still need it in all of the other months.
For real.
I do understand this month, but we need it every month. We need more and more people kind of understanding that.
The education piece, right?
Absolutely. And it's like, and that's why I'm open to Autism Awareness Month, because it could be just one little thing that sparks the brain that will have you all 365, and now you become an advocate. But if we're doing all of this for 1 month and throwing it out at the end of the month, or hey, maybe I'll see you guys this time next year,
Yeah.
and forget about it.
Right, and that's and that's what I was kind of getting to. Like, thank you to all the individuals that come out for Autism Awareness Month. You know what I mean? Doing something every day and things like that. I think it's very appreciated because it does put things at the forefront.
Yep.
But for parents like you and other individuals who have children or even work with children
Yep.
with special needs, this is 365 things like you said. So, and we, you and I always talk about not being superficial, not being cliche. Like, we want to make sure we are being advocates throughout the year, not just once. And one thing I want to ask you was, obviously you said the identification came around age 2. What was that like for you to even go in and get the eval or get that, you know what I mean? And then to hear that as a parent.
Yeah, and this gets blurry because it's been 10 years, almost at this point. But I remember just starting off, we were noticing some delays. One of the things where we weren't hearing verbal speech, but we also weren't getting a lot of eye contact.
Gotcha.
Like you just had your daughter here. She's locked in on certain things, locked in on me, looking at me. We weren't getting that. So, I had my reservations. Mom had hers, but Mom really just pushed through, even past my reservation. She just continued, like, I know something is wrong. And we got to get it figured out. So I always just acknowledge and salute her for that, because I just couldn't. I couldn't see it at that time.
Gotcha.
And I think a lot of fathers and mothers deal with that today. I don't think it's a gender thing. I think that when it comes down to your kids, it's just difficult to, think that there could be something just not wrong, but just something that you didn't anticipate.
Right. And giving in to it and like accepting it, right?
Exactly. So it's just like, people struggle with that at my son's age.
Right.
Like I get calls from teachers, certain teachers that I know, just from connecting, and they're just like, we got one child here. He's in the 5th grade. He has autism, but we can't teach him anything. And I'm like, well, what's going on with the parents? Well, the parents haven't accepted it. So now it's falling on the school's desk, right? And now they could be, affecting other children, affecting the flow of the classroom, affecting learning, because he's not getting what he needs,
right?
And that can backfire, So yeah, no, I think that was the biggest thing, is just finding out, right, getting the diagnosis, knowing that what we're dealing with, and from there we just took off. Like it was just, we had got tapped in with birth to 3. And they got him right in school, and they got him right in to a speech therapy. We didn't get into ABA until a little bit later.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it maybe took a little time, maybe a year, if that. But I know we initially got with a speech therapist, just to like kind of get the wheels turning and the ball rolling.
Gotcha.
And yeah, he was able to get in school, and then honestly from there it's been on ever since then.
Got you. And I'm replaying a lot of it because I remember you told me a lot of it as it was happening. And even during that time, we were still playing ball, and we kept Walt and Little League together a lot. You know what I'm saying? We were at Chuck E. Cheese, the gyms.
Yeah.
We would go to the park together.
Yeah.
I see you just posted a picture of them, a throwback picture of them outside 94 first in Greenfield
Yeah.
Gym.
That
Yeah,
was a
you know what
nice
I'm
gym.
saying? So when you were saying that, I'm just recounting all that. And obviously, I was on the outside looking in, but I was close in the beginning, especially in terms of when you first told me about it.
Yeah.
So I always wonder, and I never really asked you that, but what was it like for you? And I know you had to be a stoic dad and headstrong for it, but what was it like emotionally for you?
Yeah, man. You know, it was definitely difficult for me. Just, accepting that. Um, I always use the example of what the doctor told me, right? Like he'll never be able to play any team sports. And I've just always held on to just little things like that of
You
what
said
they
that
said.
multiple times before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what we're not going to do. And so I think I had an array of emotions, and I'm speaking from a place now where I'm whole now. Like
Yeah.
I'm not speaking from a place of, well, I don't know what. No, I'm whole now. I'm healed from the whole situation, so I can talk about it. But in that moment, all kinds of emotions. You know, mainly fear. I have to walk this out with my son, but I can't be everywhere with him either. So he also has to walk this world alone too. So that's I mean, all kinds of the fears, right? Like, what if something were to happen to me?
Yes.
I always have to have that in the back of my mind because I'll just always feel like if it's not myself or mom who can take care of him on that level that we do. So, and then that goes into even what we're doing now, right? A lot of life skill stuff, right?
Right.
Versus back then when he was much younger, we were focusing on the verbal and him communicating things. Now I'm teaching him life skills. Do you know how to brush your teeth? Do you know how to pick out your clothes, tie your shoes, clean yourself up after the bathroom? You know, food, like how to
Right.
make your food, or hey, at least even put the food on the oven or whatever it is,
Yeah.
just those little life skills that are gonna just, hey, look, like, putting your deodorant on, putting cologne on out after the shower, just those little life skills that where he can turn into a quality young man. The Bible
Right.
says, train them up
And the way it should go.
on the way they should go. So that's my responsibility. Everything else, as far as autism and learning and things like that, I do put that weight on myself too. But also, there's other resources for that too. He's in school and all of those different things. But I know for sure my responsibility is to make him, responsible and ready for when it's time to like be a grown man and step out here. So those are the things that I'm more or less kind of focused
Focus
on
on. Got you.
with Lil Lee now.
Right. And like you
Yeah.
said, it's been like 9 years
Yeah.
now. So you've been, going along. And one thing you just mentioned was you do your part and some, but you also utilize the resources that you have, like
Yeah.
whoever you have around, right?
Yeah.
Speak to some of those resources that you've
Yeah.
been using.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know them, but
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
viewers
Yeah.
and the individuals that you
yeah.
use.
And when I say that, I mean that from a level of, look, I got to take my hands off of the situation too.
Exactly.
Like that's been the biggest thing is I've wanted to kind of micromanage Lil
Yes.
Lee's whole progress and everything. I've been in the mix with everything, and I've just had to release it and take my hands off of it and just, let God come in and do it. So, when I've done that, I've seen those just
Yep.
magnificent things happen. So those are kind of that's just been kind of my mentality. But as far as the resources goes, he plays softball in the summer with the Miracle League,
Yeah.
and that's through the YMCA. We still do one-on-ones at Rufus Sports and with Chris.
Okay.
Um,
That's
and
with the wrestling.
Yep,
Yep.
MMA
Shout out Chris.
style. Yep. And we still do
MMA, yeah.
one-on-one sessions with Quentin Red. And we just got with a trainer a few weeks ago, baseball trainer.
Okay.
That's just willing to train him one-on-one. So yeah, just those little resources like of things, because I'm big on movement, and I just think that naturally a lot of the times when you're dealing with children with special needs, I think the easy thing to do is to stay inside, to where you don't have to interact at a grocery store, or you don't have to experience a fallout or some dysregulation with the child, if they're at home, they're fine, right? But where's the inclusion come in? Where does the things that we're praying for that, hey, I want my child to be accepted. I want, people to understand. Well, if they're in the house, how do we get the world to accept our children, or even have an understanding? So yeah, I'm big on movement. And yeah, that kind of leads to my comment about Special Olympics, right? And
Yep.
I had to pull my son from Special Olympics because it wasn't a good space for him. My son more or less does well. I've realized in one-on-ones.
Intimate
Yeah,
situations.
he does great, but it just seems that when he gets in public settings and just with a lot of people around or in the gym, it dysregulates him immediately. So we went through a game and a few practices of Special Olympics basketball, and we just even recently tried to start with track, but same thing. Way too dysregulated, not comfortable,
Okay.
and we have to listen to our children, right? The last time he was dysregulated like that, we took him out in the hallway, and he just cried. He looked at me and just cried. So that in that moment, I said, "We're done here."
Right.
I know it looks good, great pictures, great videos
Talk about
of inclusion, right? But here's a situation where he's not feeling it, and I'm not gonna put him through that.
That's a different reality, right?
That's
it.
it.
Looks good. You might see a picture,
Looks beautiful.
but sometimes you step out in that hallway, it's a totally different experience.
Totally different
'Cause
experience.
I think you said you had experience going to the Bucks game.
Yeah, it's the same situation. The Bucks game was just a little. We weren't as advanced as we are now.
Okay.
Right. So I didn't have like headphones for him.
Okay.
So like, it
the
was
noise,
for
right?
the noise, right? And that crowd is roaring at a Bucks game, and this was
Yeah.
years ago. This is when the Bucks were really good, so the games were jammed. So yeah, I mean, but all of that is sensory, loud sounds. I think my son's okay with sounds, but if you surprise him, he's gonna be like, "Whoa." It's gonna dysregulate him automatically.
Right. Just that quick.
Just like that. So like somebody, if you don't understand basketball and Giannis just got a dunk and that crowd roars, he's gonna be like, "Whoa, where'd that sound just surprise me at?" So that's why sensory and things like that are so important. So when you mix all that into the pot, and if he has sensitive ears, or even his senses are all over the place, right?
Especially lights and things like that.
We
right?
could hear a pin drop in there. We may not hear it, but he can hear it, and that may do something to him. So I have to always just kind of be in a space of, hey, this may be what I want, but this just may not be the time for it. So, yeah.
And hearing you say that, I remember our conversation and you mentioning this as we've talked, and I know you mentioned that some parents keep them inside because it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
What would you say to those parents that still feel like, you know what, I'm not taking him or her out to the mall, even though I want to go to the mall. I don't want to take him or her out to eat.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I mean? Like, what would you say to them to try to encourage them to, have the courage to even try to do it, given, from experience and just understanding circumstances?
Yeah, I think, and I'm never going to knock that.
No,
too,
for sure.
Because we have a wide range of, how people do in public. Some children or certain or grown people, it just might be a little difficult in public. That's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it just may be better for you at home, and then it's a controlled space, and obviously, most importantly, the child is is comfortable at that house. Now, when you're bringing them out in public, like a mall, like that can be an array of it's music playing. If you're going in and out of stores, it's different vibes, different energy in each store. Music up in one store is not. Like it can be so many variables to it. But I just always like to think baby steps, right? Instead of a mall, maybe we go to a outside mall.
Okay.
Where they may have 4 or 5 stores to where you can get the child used to
like
going in and out,
strip malls,
right?
Yeah.
Knowing what we're doing, like being able to show them, hey, we're doing some shopping today.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Let me look. We're going to be in and out of these stores. We're going to come out. We're going to do these different things. So I think maybe starting small. Like even for my son, like we go to the grocery store, but I think a lot of that had to start with going to the corner store first, right? A lot of
Start
the time,
small.
yeah, start small. So, we created a groove when he gets his haircut to where, look, we're gonna go to the convenience store first, and then we're gonna get our haircut. So that act helped him get his haircut.
The routine.
The
That little
routine.
small routine.
We're going to the corner store first, and then we're going in here. So we go in there, we get the candy, right? Now it's to the point to where the owner knows us. He speaking of Lee, I got Lee paying for it now. You see
Gotcha.
how we grow off of the foundation? Yeah, we started the foundation with candy that you want and a
Right,
haircut.
right, right.
But now we've built on that. Hey, go pick out what you want. Don't let me pick it out. You go
Pick
get
it
it.
up.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, you pay for it. You earned it. You see what I'm saying? You earned it. You got the money in your pocket. You pay for it. You tell that man thank you. You tell him goodbye. You hold that door for that woman that's coming in. So we just building. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm fast forwarding this because he's 11. So this has been years of some of this stuff. But I'm just saying, see how we start from the bottom, build, build, build. Now we look up, he can probably go into that gas station on his own and be like, I can figure it out without me. You see what I'm saying?
That speaks to a lot of consistency.
Now he gets his haircut just fine. That wasn't always easy, right? But probably at least the last 5, 6, 7 years, it's been easy.
It's been easier.
Because we just said, I just was relentless. Look, you have to get your haircut. So we got to try it this way. Hey, you got to have the candy you want. You got to have this or that you want. Now we look up at year 11. He doesn't need anything. He don't need for me to keep, hey, man, here goes some more. He's just like, oh, I'm just in here chilling. Get my haircut by Eric. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows a barber by name, So I think that's my advice is to just start small and just piece by piece and just say, hey, this is a goal. And we accomplished that today.
Right.
Hey, the goal was just to take them in one store and it worked. Cool. When we went to that baseball training I was telling you about, that one-on-one, I was like, all right. I told him like almost midway through, I said, hey, we've gotten a good 20, 30 minutes of good time. This is a win.
Right.
This is a win. So we don't have to keep forcing them. Hey, do this, do that. No, he's already done an excellent job for something that this is his first time. So now what happens? We're going to keep building on that, building on that. Next thing you know, what you going to see? Him hitting a home run.
There we go. There we go.
Saying it today, but it's going to happen. But we got to continue to be consistent and build, so that's my advice to the situation for sure.
How much patience and grace do you give yourself as you go along on this journey? Especially just as a father, just in general, like, because you just laid it all out there, like the baby steps you took, how you got to where you are now,
Yeah.
and to where he is now, right? And the confidence and the independence, the gradual release of that, and I hear the elation, and you know what I mean. It feels good to see this progression, but like, how much patience and grace do you provide for yourself?
And I think,
or do you not even think about it?
Yeah, I think this is where the gender wars start to come in at.
Okay.
But I just think as a man, it's difficult to give yourself grace because there's always something that needs to get done. So yes, Lee's doing well, and he's 11, right? But there's things that need to also be unlocked, right? We need to lock in more on this, whatever, multiplication, division.
Gotcha.
We need to lock more in on vocabulary words, spelling. Like even my son still struggles tying his shoes. He'll just come up to me with his shoes untied, like, tie shoes, please. I'm like, okay. I do it.
You're
but
right.
That's just something we have to lock
Work.
in on.
Gotcha.
So I think it's always going to be something. And I'm also an entrepreneur. So I
Yes.
started a business during his life. It'll be 8 years I've been doing business in September. So, we made a lot of sacrifices. So long story short, I got a lot of time to cover, to bridge, right? I wasn't always just doing business and always gone. I think I've created kind of a situation where I'm still present, but also, if it comes down to, hey, I'm tired when I get home, how good am I to him if I'm beat, right? I had a bout with depression a few years ago. How good of a dad was I in that moment? So I just think that, I try to give myself grace, like it's all right, but I'm also like in the mindset of, look, we got more to accomplish. We got some more to do.
Right.
Because we don't know how much time we got. And I'm like, I got to train him up, and it's not any fear, but it's just like,
It's
there are more
reality.
things we have to unlock, so it's hard to kind of be like, man, we didn't let that one go. Like, nah, we got to lean into everything that's working. Things at school are working, lean in. If it's things in MMA, whatever, any sport or whatever we're trying to figure out, lean in. Like, so yeah, that's my answer to it. It's probably not the most healthiest way of doing things, but no, I don't think I give myself enough grace. But I'm just dealing with it.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. I appreciate that you being honest about that too. Because I just, I listen to you a lot, especially in our conversations and stuff. So I always wondered that. I'm asking questions that I wonder too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Navigating the school system. How was that? How has that been?
That's been good on my end, and we've been extremely blessed with our situation with the school district that he's in. A lot of resources. Like I always say, my son has an army behind him. He has a full team. So school, I think it goes well. We have been dealing with some heightened behaviors out of Lee. And I think it's more or less of just dysregulation
Okay.
while he's in school. Just in, if his routine is cracked a little bit, or if he's not doing something that he had his mind set to do, it's a little difficult for him. And that's what I think we've kind of run into as far as the behavior goes. But as far as the school and the whole situation, it's just been beautiful. It's just like, as a parent with special needs, and I'm sure others feel the same way, we feel alone and we feel like our kids are alone. So my prayer is always send people, send help, but you can send people. Then he started sending people. You see what I'm saying? So I look up at the school. I'm like, you got an army behind them. Why? Because I know that they are really focused on Lil Lee. They love Lil Lee.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I use the example of even at my church. I had took on a leadership role at my church, and and my parents moved up north. So like,
Oh yeah.
I don't have the resources for my son really.
To just be giving them,
yeah,
having somebody watch them.
yeah. I mean, if anything, it comes with a 30-minute drive one way,
Right.
So I have to bring him with me a lot of the time. And I was just like, well, look, if I've been called to this, then somehow you're going to make a way. Then he started sending people, started sending the Yannis and the Camillas and people that's just like, hey, you go do what you're supposed to do.
I remember you told me that. Yeah. I remember you told me that.
So he started to send people, right? So word used to just be warring in prayer every single morning before he went, just warring. Like, man, then next thing you know, I looked up, kids started meeting him, when I dropped them off. Kids started to meet him, walk him to the car as I'm leaving, during his different concerts and different things that they're having going on at school with certain kids that just gravitate to him. And I'm like, he's sending people. So let me, like I was just saying, take my hands off of the situation and let the whole situation work out that way, because I'm sitting here like, I'm sitting by the phone trying to do business, but I'm sitting by the phone. Man, call. Maybe is everything going okay? When he's already answered. The people are here. He sent the people. He sent the help.
So that flesh was still anxious.
Every day. That's why we got to put that thing under submission every day.
Man.
Naturally, but I think also some of this is natural. As men, we're just protectors.
Yes.
Providers, and that goes for the real men. Like I'm not saying that every man naturally gets what I'm putting down right now.
I know what you mean.
Saying?
Because that phone call come from the school, I'm already my chest like, hold on, what went on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
But everybody don't get that chest pump. Everybody don't have that. Everybody goes. Some it's unfortunate, but
right.
Some are like that versus we get activated.
Right. Right.
So I think that's like pretty natural for us to be just wanting to be in control.
Was it difficult for you to, because I know you said you prayed for it, right?
Yeah.
Was it difficult for you to like step back and just like accept that help? Like the fact that I'm doing my duty at church, such and such you said Camilla or whoever,
Yeah.
they have them.
Yeah.
Like, was it difficult for you to be like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
you know what I
Yeah. Oh
mean?
yeah. Yeah. That's. I mean, I'm still dealing with that. That's
Got you.
that's still happening. Like I'm still, like even though I'm out doing what I'm supposed to be doing, like there's still a pull. There's still a man. I know my son's in the back. Let me go check on him real quick. Like, and they be pushing me away. They be like, man, he fine. He under control. Now you getting them all. You know what I'm saying? So they be trying to get me to stay away. But it's still just to know that my son's in the same building as me. I want to make sure he's
I
straight
want
at
to
all
see.
times. Yeah, I want to just make sure.
I want to
Yeah,
see. I want to see.
yeah, man. So,
Man.
so yeah, man. It's just been, and obviously it's been difficult too.
Right.
Some of this stuff is just like you just don't know, right? You deal with different neuro things where no rhyme or reason for it. It's just happening, right? So, I was forced to take my hands off of the situation. It's certain things that only the men above can handle.
I
Like
believe that.
I can. It's only so much that I can do with these unclean hands. You
Right.
know. So I just started giving it to him, and then once I started to see he was working, that's enough for me to take my hands off of it. I ain't got to keep micromanaging God, right?
Right.
He gonna do what he's supposed to do. So I ain't got to keep looking over his shoulder like, you gonna get that? Like, no,
Yeah.
he got it.
He got it.
So he showed me that. So I had to release like all of the worry and anxiousness so I can do what I'm supposed to do today, which is still be a provider, still build up the foundation, bring back the pod. Like there's a lot of different things I'm called to do, but I can't do that. Like, man, I wonder what Lil Lee doing. Like he got a whole mother, he got all types of different people
Supports.
around
Yep.
him supporting him. So I just got to be able to just trust that he ain't just out on the street.
Right.
When he's away from me, he's fine and he's coming right back to me the next day.
He's taken care of.
So yeah.
He's taken care of.
Yeah.
And well, you mentioned all your titles and things like that, but you become a huge advocate, not only just for autism and special needs, but just in general when we talk about kids with special needs in general, but also from a male's perspective.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like that's important?
Because I just feel like men don't specifically get their just due. I think a lot of things happen with us that we don't talk about, that we don't have spaces that are comfortable enough. So I just think we bottle that stuff in, and eventually it all comes out, and it typically doesn't come out in a good way, right? It
Anger,
leads
frustration.
to anger, frustration. What's that lead to? Domestic violence, violence amongst others, doing things that you shouldn't probably be doing. So all of that is just a microcosm of it. So I just try to be there for just the males that I know in this space too. Is difficult, but just being just a man in general, and not disregarding women at all when I say that.
For sure.
But I just think that there are things that men carry that only, like certain men like myself, can help them walk it out. So that's what I do, and it's nothing like I'm specifically doing. It's just when I see someone that needs some help, I'm here, and I just offer myself up for that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, it's important that, look, the more men we get in line, the better everything is. The more the women are protected, the more things are ordered and structured. It's just a beautiful thing when men get it together. So yeah, that's what I'm always here. I'm always here for that.
For sure. And I think one of the first things that you kind of invited me to, or we suggested going, was to the Special Olympics. What was that?
2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago?
Yep.
In Oshkosh?
Yep.
So 2 years ago in Oshkosh.
Next one is in 2 weeks, actually. 2 Saturdays. Well, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday.
Correct.
Yep.
And we went up there for how many? What did we see? Like 1 or 2 games?
How many games was it? We saw.
I can't remember how many games it was.
I know Quentin and them played 1 game for sure. No, then maybe we did play. Did we stay for 2 games?
I think we stayed for 2.
Yep.
And we didn't come the next day for the championship, but they won.
Yep. We didn't come for that. Yeah. So yeah, man, that was just Special Olympics. Just a beautiful experience.
Yeah, talk about that too, because when we walked in,
Yeah.
There were so many people there.
Yeah.
There were people getting trained on tied up on the trading tables. Remember, it was
Ankles
all
taped. They had dentists set up. They had all different types of. They had merch for
yes,
Special Olympics. I mean, it's just an all the way inclusive day. But again, I always have to give the precursor of it's a lot of people in one space. So yes, you do have some children that are okay, but Lee was not having difficulty, but we definitely had to get the headphones out,
I
just to
remember that.
kind of
This is true.
like just smooth over some of that dysregulation. So, but yeah, no, it's a beautiful experience. Quentin has just involved us in everything. They have practice tonight and next Thursday night. So we'll be there to support that. But yeah, it's just been a great experience as far as that part goes. Just being included and the team and just everyone just kind of wrapping their arms around Lil Lee. It's just been amazing. So that's the good part of it. It just didn't specifically work out for him actually playing.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
that's not a that's
Right.
not a death sentence either.
Right.
Like at some point he'll be comfortable enough to get out there.
And do it.
But just for right now, like I was saying, we're gonna lean in. We're gonna lean into what has been working, and the one-on-one seem to be working the best.
For sure.
So we just gonna lean in there.
For sure. And again, we got the Special Olympics. We
Yep.
have the Autism Awareness Month. We have a lot of different outlets and things that they do specifically for the population and for the people and the resources for the families. But when you think about it from your own personal standpoint, what is something you want individuals that don't walk it every day to kind of like know? And I know we talked before about the edification of being educated. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, what is something that you would want to tell them?
Biggest thing is like no one is, and I've accepted this on my end too, and it's not even with special needs, but just everyone isn't like you. So everyone doesn't learn like you. Everybody doesn't process things like you. No one thinks like you. No one thinks like me. I've accepted that too. I'm a unicorn. Like everybody's not going to catch what I'm putting down. So when I'm walking out in the world and even walking this out, I have to realize that, yeah, my way of doing things isn't, the only way, right? So if I see a child or a grown person with special needs, I'm able to maybe identify it. I'm not just like, oh, let me give them my cart and go this way. No, let's lean in a little bit. Hey, I know they're dealing with this. Well, what can I do? Right? Can I make them feel a little more welcome? Can I make them, can I speak to them politely? Right? Not just, I'm so scared. You know what I mean?
Or the stairs.
Or the stairs, just sitting there watching. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is one thing. Is just like, man, everybody don't think like everybody's not you. So, and then more specifically, everybody's not learning like you. Everybody's not processing information like you. Yeah, for me, we in this room with all these lights, but what if Lee was here? Would he be able to handle all of this? You see, so I have to always keep that in mind. Hey, am I putting him in an environment that's conducive to him? Forget what everybody else thinks I should be doing or what he should be doing at this age.
Right.
Forget that. What's the best situation for him? So for me, I was like, well, Special Olympics situation isn't working on this end, but I know the one-on-ones are working on the back end.
Absolutely.
So we're going to lean into that.
Absolutely.
Until we can get him to this place to where we interact and he can pass the ball. You know what I mean? Together as a group. But in the meantime, he need to learn how to dribble and pass and shoot on his own. Then when he get active, now he know, oh, okay, I know I'm supposed to pass to him. I know I'm supposed to dribble right here and give it to, when you don't know, now he's just hyper dysregulated because he see a bunch of people running this way. Now he's like, I got to run this way. He like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So automatically he's getting dysregulated and uncomfortable because he like, I'm just out here. It's all these people yelling, they screaming, they saying stuff. What do? My mom over here, my grandparents over there, my dad behind the bench. Like we have to I think it through like that.
Right.
Like when my son's dealing with something like, and he maybe can't verbalize it to me, I start to feel his energy. You see what I'm saying? Oh man, he got a sore throat. Next thing I wake up, I'm like, because I can feel him. We're so connected that I can feel what he's going through. You see what I'm saying? So I just think just being in tune and knowing, like, hold on, yeah, this look good. Yeah, it's the right thing. But is it the right thing for him right now, today?
Right.
A lot of the times it's not. So, or sometimes it is, other times it's not. So as a parent, as much as you may want it, you know how bad I wanted the Special Olympics, bro? Mom and my parents were coming. This is the first time we can invite family to a game for him. We did that with the Miracle League last year too, but I'm just saying, like, these are the like, you may have took Walt to his first game, what, 5 or 6, and family came out, grandmother probably seen him, mom seen him, right? This is our first time. You see, it's just like Christmas morning. We like, everybody pulling up.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, he not comfortable. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a build up for a letdown at the same time, but it gives me a benchmark to say, all right, now I know where we can get started working. You see what I'm saying? So not that I'm just, because I feel a way about it, but now I'm just like, okay, now we got a plan of where we can get him started.
To how to get him there.
Hey,
So
fine. The 5-on-5 ain't. Look, maybe we start with some 2-on-2, 3-on-3. But we got to lock the skills down first. If he know what he doing, he know how he dribbling and doing this or that, then he should be fine if we put 2-on-2, 3-on-3. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm off on the tangent.
No, you all good. No, we needed all that.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for the viewers to know, the ones that aren't experiencing it, and then even thinking about, like, when you were saying, like, we don't all think alike. We don't all process information the same. Our perspectives are very different a lot of times, you know what I mean? And even our own perception of what is normal.
Yeah.
Right? That's talked a lot about a lot in terms of, like, how all of our brains work. You know what I mean? So when I was just listening to you, I'm just like, no, exactly. Because you see it all the time in education, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In regards to the students, how somebody else might come up with an answer versus this person. You know what I mean? You see it a lot.
And none of us chose this.
Yeah.
None of us chose to be autism moms or dads. No one chose this. Like, no one, that's one thing that we talk about in the Word, in the Bible, where they like, who sinned? No one did. This is just what we're dealing. This is just the cards we were dealt. And now this is just what we're dealing with now
This
today.
is what we endure.
So no one's done anything. There's no one to blame. Oh, maybe mom did that. There's no one to blame. This is all God ordained. You see what I'm saying? So,
do you know anybody that felt, and even I'll ask you that too, do you know anybody, or you don't have to say their name or anything, like, do you know anybody that felt or may have looked at it as if I blame him or I blamed her for the way their child?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And how dangerous is that?
And I mean, I just think that's also hurt people. That falls into all of that, right? Like, because I think naturally, if something goes wrong with our kids, we're looking, where did it go wrong? So, hey, maybe mom didn't pay attention to her health during this time, right? What's the big glaring thing? Oh, vaccine. Took a vaccine.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
You probably should touch on that.
Took a vaccine. Yeah. So now here we are. Now I'm dealing with this. I know I should have never gave him that back. Now you switching doctors. You doing all of this just because they done what has been natural for the last 100 years we've been on this earth. So I think that's that's the blame. On certain parts, but then just. You never know, right? Like, typically from what I see, when you're dealing with special needs, I see a lot of people walk away. I see a lot of these marriages turn into divorce, right? Because one person sees it one way, the other person may see it another way. And it's just like...
that division.
It's easy to be like... And then when you talk about special needs too, hey, that person ain't really holding up their side of the bargain. Yeah, I'm the one that took him to his last 5 practices, or I'm the one that took him to school the last 2 weeks. I'm the one that picked him up from school the last, so you see how that can build up something. And imagine if you're not doing, right? Imagine the lack. Imagine, just this is used for example, the dad not being involved. Imagine the dad not being involved at all. You're going to be blaming that dad, like, they put me in this situation. So I think naturally, just as humans, we're always looking for a rhyme or reason for
Or something
things.
to blame and hang it on.
Versus how I've taken this and said, no, it's no one to blame. Actually, he called me to do it because he knew I could carry it. So let me, my favorite two words, right? Lean into it, right? Let me lean in
You're
because he
right.
brought me here.
Right.
He brought this to my front door, and now I can't do nothing about it. But I obviously got everything. I'm equipped with everything I need to push through.
Right.
So now we leaning in, we pushing through, we standing tall, chest out. We ain't walking around like this is a death sentence, right? This ain't the worst thing in the world. We gonna get through this like we get through everything. We're gonna tackle. It's not gonna be a thing, right? For some
Right.
of us, I just got that crazy faith to believe that at some point we won't be talking about this. It'll just be solved, and it'll be whatever it's gonna be. But I'm just crazy enough to believe that. But yeah, but that's what I think. That mentality, that's what's gotten me, is just like, no, it ain't happening to me, it's happening for me. So what
Yeah.
am I getting out of this?
Yeah.
I view people way differently now. I'm just like, wow, like, you know, I even see like the children that are helping my son. I'm like, I can't imagine what type of heights they're gonna soar to when they get older, if they can lock in this piece right now that everyone is not like me. And I'm privileged with everything that I got, right? How blessed are we to be able to sit here and podcast and communicate
Right.
how you feel and how I feel. I'm able to give, receive.
Simply.
That's not the case for everybody. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, we talking about being able to read the men, releasing things and talking through things, right? Imagine some of the stuff that my son may have built up that he needs to release. So we got to look at how good our lives are too, right? Everybody's not able to just naturally talk, naturally interact with people. It's a lot of social anxiety. A lot of people aren't able to be around X amount of people for this amount of time. Like, we're able to move in those spaces. That's not the same thing for everybody, you know?
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to do with, having autism or having a disability. Just everybody, not even the people who don't struggle with those things still struggle with everything I just said.
Right.
So
In
I gotta
some way,
be
form, or
open.
fashion.
I gotta be open. I have to be open to everybody, you know? So yeah.
No, I understand that. I hear that for sure, especially in terms of, like you said, some of these small things that we're able to do, like right now, really being able to communicate how we feel, our thought process. We take a lot of these things for granted
Big time.
on a regular. I mean,
Yeah.
even those with special needs that are disabled. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
That
I hear so many times of parents that have children with special needs or whatever, and they don't sleep. The parents are maybe able to get 2 or 3 hours of sleep. You see what I'm
because
saying?
of the worry.
Or the child's not going to sleep, or the child might have different sleep
You told me
times,
about that,
all
an
types of stuff.
individual.
No, it's several people I know
Oh,
at this
really?
point now. It's a thing. So like I'm sitting here, like, my son goes to bed at 9 every night. He wakes up around 6:37 every day. That's not the story for everybody. So imagine everything that I'm describing, everything that you're dealing with mentally, and on top of that, I'm sleep deprived. And on top of that, my child's sleep deprived. So he got to go through all his ABA. He got to go through his day at school, dealing with all these different people, all this different energy, and he only had 3 hours of sleep. Now, us as grown people, we can get through that. We'll get through that just fine, you know. But as far as a kid goes, they can't push through no 20-hour day with 3 hours of sleep.
Especially as they're developing.
And this is, let's take a step past development, right? They're trying to learn how to interact and talk so they can be one in the world. They can interact with other kids, be able to talk and communicate their needs. You know what I'm saying? So all of that, and I can't sleep, right? Talk about eating. Look, that's
I remember
another
you
thing.
said you was picky,
Okay,
right?
Lee's very picky. Lee don't eat red meat. He's never had a hamburger before, right? So you're like, oh man, he never ate red meat. Okay, so how does that affect him, right? He needs iron. You see what I'm saying? So we had to walk out of the situation with him being iron deprived. They had diagnosed him with being anemic. You see what I'm saying? because he's not because he's dealing with autism. He only wants to eat certain foods. He doesn't want a burger. He doesn't want,
Steak.
nachos, steak, like things where he can just if he ate a little bit of it, he would get the iron that he needs. He can't even do that. You see? So that's why I'm like, the stuff we catch naturally, right? Can't just take medicine, right? We just had a bout with him. He had a sinus infection. You didn't want to take amoxicillin? Like, he ain't just gonna be like, oh, okay, let me get that. I know it tastes like bubble gum. I'll take it. He's like, huh? Like, he's looking at that like, it's pink, it's thick, it's like,
All the senses.
he's looking at every fact. It's on a spoon. Like he's
Right.
versus somebody just be like, oh, okay, just take it. He's looking at all of those things. So we mixing it in with different Now imagine your son being sick. You know what he's sick with. Now you done found out what he's sick with, and he won't take none of the medicine.
You got the
This is
antibiotic.
our lives, bro. This is every day for some of us. This type of stuff. Like, man, he can't do this, he can't do that. How do I bridge the gap? Do I send him to school with all of this going on or not? Right? Do I homeschool him or not? Some people are dealing
Have you
with.
considered that before?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
If I had the time for it, I would for sure lean into it. But I do appreciate what's going on right now too. So it's not a problem for me. But obviously, I'm speaking for myself. There could be thousands of people watching this that is jumping from school to school each year. Everybody can't get in the district I'm in. Everybody can't afford to move to, Franklin area, Oak Creek area, Menominee Falls area, Germantown area. Everybody can't just up and do that. They got to deal with what's going on in the city and the resources there or the closest places by. So,
Even in daycares.
that's another thing. I mean, you can touch on that. Certain daycares may not accept you. You see what I'm saying? With some
Or
of
if
these,
they do, they're not even equipped.
they're not equipped. Yeah, so
To
they don't
understand.
even. So they don't even know. You see, so a lot of variables. But this is what's just walking everybody into the mind of a
No,
person
absolutely.
that has a child with special needs. And I mean, we can go on and on, right? We can talk about getting them back and forth to ABA therapy.
The daily routine.
Your daily
Because
routine.
I remember you told me you guys are extremely routine, and I know you said May is coming up and whatever, and the summer it gets real because the routine is different, and even going back to school
Yep.
is sometimes a challenge in the
It's
beginning,
difficult.
right?
Yep. And we did tweak that this summer, and he did summer school, so
Okay.
that helped. It wasn't for the whole summer, but that kind of kept him in school mode to where it was time to transition back to school. He was fine.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
but
wait.
again, like that is a
For
real
those
thing.
that are not doing that though, right?
And I'm speaking this in year 11.
Yes.
It wasn't always like that, all right? I remember when we would come in early to meet the teacher in picture day, and he wasn't having it, right? Mom would have to take him out. For a long time, I had to take him up to his school, a few weeks prior before school to get him in the routine of school because he didn't even want to go back. I'd be like, school? He'd be like, I could just feel him, the anxiety, start breathing fast. He ready to cry. I'm like, he's not ready. So what I had to start doing was, okay, let me take you up to the school just so you can get comfortable here. Let me take you to play on the playground. We're gonna come up here after hours, 6, 7 o'clock. Just go on the playground. Let's just get you to pulling up to the drop off just to see how you do. Just that extra step just to try to make things smoother. That's the step I'm willing to take.
Thank you for that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people understand. I'm gonna say most people. I'm not gonna say all. I'm gonna say most people don't understand the great lengths that not only you but other parents go to
Yeah.
ensure like I can get my son or my daughter to this point to
Yeah.
be able to be comfortable.
Yeah.
To be able to be willing and open to like, okay, we can do this because I create this familiarity through this consistency.
Yeah.
And like you said, that was another thing that we take for granted. Those are, those that are not dealing with a child with special needs or anything like that, right? Where they just, you going to school. You might cry a little bit, but you going to school. You know what I mean? Versus, hold on, you told me you feel his anxiousness. You feel his shoulder. You see his heart, his shoulders drop. You see him begin to cry, and it's like, okay, hold on, I gotta devise a plan real quick to get him to be kind of
Yeah.
like okay to get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah,
Man, I
and
appreciate that.
always having a plan. Too, like he went to the doctor maybe like 3 weeks ago, and he wasn't prepared for it. So when I got there, he was just like he was a little bit thrown. So I could tell he wasn't prepped. So he had an appointment last Friday, I think, or Thursday or Friday. So I was able to like prep him for it. Like, so I'm like, this is what we doing tonight. You going to bed in the morning. We gonna wake up. You gonna do this. You gonna do that, and then you got to go to see the doctor. You see what I'm saying? So
This is
like,
a conversation you have with
it's
me.
a conversation. So like, obviously we go over it maybe another few times before the end of the night. But in his mind, he know before I hit school, I'm gonna see the doctor. So the appointment goes much smoother because he knew exactly what to expect. Like, oh, okay, I know exactly what I got to do now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'm like, in the appointment, I'm like, he like letting the lady take his, check his blood pressure, all of that. Cause like the when I went a few weeks ago, he wasn't having it. He didn't want to deal with him. But now he like, oh, okay, yeah, I get on this scale. Yep, y'all can measure me up. Like unprompted, no headphones,
Listen
no
to my
iPad, no
heart.
tablet. I took a picture and posted it too. But he just was completely. But it just took proper preparation.
Right.
Getting him together and say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. You know,
Man.
yeah, it's a lot.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot, and
It's
I'm
a
not
lot.
gonna steal it all.
Yeah.
Because my man's he got a lot going on. He got some things that's coming through the pipeline. I'm appreciating the perspective. I've asked you a few questions. I mean, we've talked at length plenty of times, but some of the questions that I have asked, I was like, I always try to figure out when was the right time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you was able to express a lot of that to me because some of the questions I didn't even have to ask. And I appreciate the openness, and I know there's a lot more.
Definitely.
And I know we're gonna say some of that. We're gonna say some of that for what you got going on and things like that. So before we get out of here, I want you to make sure that you let the people know, let the audience know what's going on with you coming up next in terms of special needs and wants,
Yep.
what they could be looking for, and a little bit more about the intentionality behind trying to talk to moms and dads and create this space for them.
Yeah. What's going on with special needs and wants is the podcast, which we had going. We're going to be bringing it back and really just starting off focusing on some panel-based discussions with different fathers, mothers, and even school resources. When we talk about daycares, things like that. And so we're just going to be breaking it down a little more into. Yes, it's still going to be me talking a lot, like I always am.
You
But
got a lot to talk about
I
though.
know I got a lot, but I also got a lot to learn still
This
too.
is true.
With him only being 11, it's like imagine somebody like Quentin Red's perspective. His brother's almost 40.
Exactly.
You know
Or
what I
he is
mean?
40. He's
Or he
older
is
than that.
40.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
older than that.
So you see what I'm saying? So I still got a lot to learn. But that's what's going on with special needs. And once we're coming back with everything, with that real soon, I mean like T minus 14 days kind of situation.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's happening. We're also in the process with the foundation, getting everything going for that, just to provide a space for the community, parent support groups, adaptive camps, just mainly movement. Just anything that we can do that would require some movement. Obviously, partnering with just anyone who kind of has the same vision
Yep.
as me, as far as that goes. But we're definitely taking it to the community space, nonprofit space, just to provide a staple. As we talk about Autism Awareness Month, a lot of the time we can't get people's attention outside of April. Now, if we had a staple, I could get your attention though, because there's something going on every
Regularly.
weekend,
Yes.
or bi-weekly at most. So, and I think that's what we need as far as this in the special needs community is we need, hey, look, I'm going to that place, or hey, I'm reaching out to that person, right? And that's who I want to be. I want to be that place and I want to be that person. Hey, I know I got resources here to help. Hey, I know we do hey, I may not be able to do everything, push you through with the state, ABA therapy. I don't work in that space, But if you need a space to talk, or you need someone to hear, or listen to someone who's walked this out, we're going to provide. We got that. You
Gotcha.
see what I'm saying? So that's why, we want to at least start with that, just so that people can have something and just build from there. So it started as a podcast. It's floating into a foundation, and who knows what happens from there. It's going to get interesting from there. But I'm really just doing what I'm told to do, and that's provide a space for the community. When I dealt with this, I know I make it sound easy, and I know I make it sound like I just have overcome it. But no, I went through it very tumultuous. I'm still going through stuff, right? I just told Walt how I was shedding tears a few weeks ago in regards to some things with Lee, right? I'm still
Yep.
dealing with going through this just like everybody else,
Yep.
But I'm not staying there.
Yep.
I'm not staying there. So that's why I want to provide this, because when I dealt with those things, I didn't have anyone to lean on. So now you got something. Even if you got just, hey man, he got episode 6 that just came out. That's something. Or just this episode right now. This is healing right here.
Absolutely.
Somebody's gonna feel this.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna be
Absolutely.
like, man, some stuff he said that hit home. That's what we're
Absolutely.
here for.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're gonna do. I'm the voice, right? You gotta be the voice.
You gotta be the voice.
Am I the voice?
You gotta be the voice.
I'm the voice for whomever. But I'm not the main voice. I'm one of the voices. Whatever. If I can help one person, that's it.
Yeah,
I have no
a job
issue
well
with
done.
that. Yeah,
A job well done.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I'm more than happy for you, because we've talked about this.
Oh, we got the merch coming too.
Don't forget the merch.
That's coming too.
There you go.
I mean, that's here. So
Okay.
as you can see, it's here. So
You gotta get the merch.
Yeah.
Gotta get the merch. But I'm just happy that you go ahead and push it out, because we've been talking about this for
Yeah.
a little while.
Yeah.
Did a lot of stuff behind the scenes with the pod and things like that, and just trying to roll it out. And you always want to make sure that it served a specific purpose, and you
Yeah.
want it to be intentional, especially as far as being that voice
Yeah.
and that person. Like, you can come to me, because I remember vividly you saying, like, I don't even know where to turn for this. I don't really know what my supports are, and I'm not saying that you weren't looking either, because I know that you were looking. And then now you're trying to be that change that you wanted, that you needed. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And if I could give a suggestion, is it's like I'm just even thinking about just when I was walking that out, where was I at, and what was I looking for? Because I wasn't specifically looking for a rescue or for somebody to just come and save me. I was really, in those moments when we were talking like that, I was really just looking for a friend, like someone to support me, someone to just say, hey, look, I know what's going on. I don't understand it because I'm not walking it out, but I'm gonna walk with you every step of the way, and that's who you were to me. So that's my my draw to someone who is who may have someone with special needs, or have family, or even, hey, maybe one of your friends, right? It could be a close friend, just like how you are. Yeah, obviously we're brothers too, but you're a
sure.
friend of mine.
For sure.
So, instead of just, hey, I don't know how to handle my friend when they're dealing with this because I've never been with it. Well, just walk with them. That was my mentality. Hey, I don't know what's going on with my son. I don't know anything about autism, but one thing I know, we both walking through that door. It ain't no, hey, he got to walk this out. I'm walking every step of the way with you. I'm gonna be right here.
Yes.
So I think that's what I was looking for, and I think that's what the people are looking for. Hey, who gonna be there regardless? I know my mom and dad gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? But who around me is gonna walk this out with me?
Who gonna listen to me?
Yeah. Who gonna hear me with an ear to where it's like, hey man, I'm having a difficult time with my son, and where you just like, oh well, man, maybe you need to put him to bed, or you just trying to tell me how to parent, or whatever the case may be. No, I need someone that's gonna understand what I got going on and say, hey man, I don't know everything, but I'm gonna walk this thing out with
For sure.
you. So that's my draw to the people.
For sure. I don't think we need anything else. That was a perfect segue to the ending, man. Thank you for providing that to the people. Thank you for providing that to me.
Yeah.
This was a wonderful episode. We could have went longer.
Yeah.
But my man got a lot coming up, and I want you to make sure that you tune it in to what he has going on. Again, like he said, he's walking through this journey. He still got stuff to learn, but he has learned a lot on the way. So please utilize him.
Yeah.
Reach out to him.
Yeah. Follow
Follow him.
Special Needs and Wants on
Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. That's where you'll find everything.
Coming soon. He said T minus 14, so you never know. We almost here. We in April. So until next time, what's your motive?
Love.